welcome to Sewing Repairs and Alterations. Now in this particular video I'm going to show you how to repair the split seam of a pocket bag within a waistcoat. Now the split seam occurs when heavy objects like keys or coins and that sort of thing go into the pocket bag and it causes the stitches to give way, hence you get a hole. Now it's a very simple operation because all we need to do is just close up this seam to repair the pocket bag. So I'm going to take the waistcoat over to the pattern table and show you the equipment you're going to need so that we can repair this pocket bag. Okay, before we start the alteration, I'm just going to go over the equipment you're going to need to repair this pocket bag. So you're going to need an unpicker, or it's sometimes known as a seam ripper, so you need one of those. Of course you're going to need thread. Now the thread needs to be the same colour as the garment that you're altering, so I've got a very dark grey here which corresponds very nicely to the colour of this waistcoat. And we've got some little sharp embroidery scissors to cut the threads. And we don't actually need pins for this alteration, but I do always keep pins with me just in case. And of course we need the sewing machine. So now that we know all of the equipment we need, we can now start the alteration. Now you need to first of all find the pocket bag which needs to be repaired. As you can see, there's quite a substantial hole there, and this needs to be stitched from the inside so that it's all really neat and it basically looks exactly the same as when it was first manufactured. So you need to go on the side where the pocket bag is. So what I mean is we need to create a very small hole here in the bottom hem of the waistcoat. Now you could go sort of in the middle here, but with most waistcoats, near enough every single one that I know of, they're attached on the side seam, and of course they do that for easy alteration to take the waist in or take it out. So this is always attached inside, so you can't really get through. If you were to do that, there'd be much more work. So you need to just make a very small hole in the bottom hem here where the pocket bag is going to be repaired. So let's just get our unpicker and just create a small hole. Now it doesn't need to be very big because all you need to do is just pull a very small amount of the pocket bag through. So basically that's all we need, and we just need to just pull this pocket bag through the gap like that. So very easy. Now you can see that all we need to do is just close up this gap here. So you can see where the stitches were. We've got the stitches here and we've got the stitches here on the bottom of the pocket bag, and all we're doing is we're restitching the bottom here. So we're stitching from here to this point here, and make sure that all of your stitches join up from where the gap is. Okay, so as you can see, I've now stitched across the bottom of the pocket bag, as you can see there. And if I was to just bring this out of the pocket bag, as you can see, that is all completely repaired. Now, there's a little bit of a thread sticking out there, so we can just cut that off like that. But that is now repaired. So it's very simple to repair the pocket bag. So what we need to do now is we need to just close up this small gap what we created, and of course we'll be using a hand sewing needle to close that up, and we're going to do a little bit of blind stitching. So I'm going to take this over to the iron and the ironing board, give it a press, and then we're going to put our blind hem stitches in place. Okay, so the next bit, before we press this, just make sure that the pocket bag is nice and flat in there, give this a press, like that. And then we can start doing the blind hem. Now, I'm just going to turn this round because it's easier for me to do it like this. Let's just have a look. Here we go. Right. So, of course, you need a hand stitching needle with thread. And all we're doing is we're just closing up this small gap. Now, we can just start off by knotting the fabric. So just do a few stitches on top of each other like that. And then we can just carefully grab the lining and the outer, okay, and just create these blind hem stitches as you go. Okay, don't make them too tight. They don't need to be too tight. All we're doing is we're just closing up this small gap to just finish off this alteration. Now, it's only a real small gap, so it doesn't take long at all. Okay, just a few more little stitches, and then this will then be closed. But while you're stitching this, make sure you don't that your needle doesn't go through the whole fabric and then it sticks out on the outside. You don't want that, of course, because that's defeating the object. You know, so it needs to be a blind stitch so that you can't see the stitching on the outside. Now I've now closed up the gap because I've got to the other side now. So just a few more little stitches just to close that up. Like that. Make sure that the whole gap is closed. As you can see, that's all closed up. It's all very neat. We can now cut off the thread and just make sure that this is nice and straight and give this another press. Like that. Okay, now the outside is the most important, so you need to make sure that this looks exactly the same as what it did when it was first brought into you. There we go. So that's it. We've closed that up now, and we've now repaired the pocket bag on the waistcoat. And as you can see, the pocket bag is all stitched from the inside, and that's exactly what we intended to do in the first place. So that is how you repair the pocket bag in a waistcoat.